first of all, convergence across very different cultures. At the heart of Neoplatonism is this idea of cultivating a profound receptivity. Taoism, you have Wu-Wei, which is the profound receptivity, being like the uncarved block. It's Ed Slingerland's book, Trying Not to Try. And that's what I would say to you, Kurt. The doing is the doing that undermines itself as doing, which sounds like a paradox, but when you're doing, if you want to get into the flow state, and if you keep trying to get into the flow state, you will never get into the flow state. It doesn't mean being limply passive. You have to do in a way that undermines it as a doing, so that you find yourself caught up in the flow state. And then you flow, which is not something you do, it is something you participate in. And I think getting that, what Stegmaier calls that proper orientation, which is I think what ratio religio is the key thing. And that's what Iris Murdoch in The Sovereignty of the Good, speaking from the Neoplatonic tradition, right? That the most important moral act, the core moral act is how giving things their proper attention. And she makes that argument as the key to ethics and how it has been largely ignored by the analytic ethical tradition that had been growing up, right, in the 20th century. And I think that is fundamentally right. I think that, and virtue ethics, I think, is moving towards that. Because Murdoch also said, love is when you finally acknowledge that something other than yourself is real, and so it's this ability to get oneself into a receptivity to flow, such that one is properly evolving one's attention to conform, in the Aristotelian sense, to the ligaments of reality. I think that's the ultimate thing that I'm trying to talk about a lot when I'm talking about relevance, realization, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I'd just like to add a little rider to all of this, which is that there is Wu-Wei is puzzling to Westerners initially because it means not doing, basically. And there is a not doing which is quite different from passively not doing something, that is the other side of doing. Just as there's an unknowing, which is not ignorance that comes before knowing, but the unknowing that comes after knowledge.
Sure.
And there's an innocence that is not the same as the innocence of a child, but an innocence that can only come after deep experience of life.
Plotinus talks about the nothingness that is a privation, and then the no-thingness that is a superlative, the really real. And that you need a certain proper kind of educating of your sensibility and receptivity to be able to discern nothingness from no-thingness.
Oh,
and when you can do that, that leads to a very, one of the most profound kinds of connectedness there can possibly be.